I know. This is the Canadian news broadcast I did. It's 9 minutes long. We can watch it.
Hasan
Here.
Piker is one of America's most popular political commentators on the left, especially amongst younger people.
He has to do that because affordability is a real issue.
He spends his days online, sharing his thoughts and opinions with millions of followers on Twitch, an interactive live streaming service. Commentator, interviewer, and sometimes reporter. And while Piker is not a household name in Canada, his views on topics...
Yo, chill. I am a household name in Canada. What the Why they gotta cook me like that?
...like socialism, Zionism, and imperialism drew a crowd when he came to this country for the first time earlier this month. He delivered a talk at the University of British Columbia's Chan Center.
He's consistent with his politics, always sticking up for marginalized folks.
I think that he has a great worldview.
He consistently stands up for trans people, queer community, minority groups.
His presence, though, not without controversy. Several Jewish groups have accused him of anti-Semitism, lobbied to have him barred from entering the country. Piker was in Vancouver as part of a speaker series on U.S. policy when we sat down with him. Some viewers have no idea what Twitch is, what streaming is, what you do for a living. So what do you do?
I do what conservative radio talk show hosts have done for years, but as a socialist.
And you are interacting with people the whole time. Explain that to me.
Yeah, so I try to have a dialogue with participants.
No, it's never going to be a grand fracturing of the party. They're never going to fracture.
So it's kind of like if you ever wanted to yell at the television, at CBC, for example, yell at one of the anchors, hopefully not you, you could do that, and then the anchor would hear what you have to say and then sometimes even respond.
So you do this, live streaming, 8 hours a day, ideally, 7 days a week. What drives you?
I realized early on that I had this worldview that I felt like wasn't being addressed at all in mainstream outlets. So I thought, I'm just going to be the person that'll do it.
What is your worldview?
I'm a socialist, anti-imperialist, anti-fascist, anti-genocide. And yeah, that pretty much covers it.
Now, most people who are in the streaming space are right-wing voices.
They can't pray on the sidewalk outside an abortion clinic.
All of our scientific institutions have been taken over by political activists.
Colleges and universities are run by leftists.
You are the opposite of that, and yet you are wildly popular. How do you explain that?
The reason why I think I'm popular is because I have a commonly held opinion that oftentimes doesn't get addressed in mainstream resources.
You spoke today to a UBC audience, sold out. You clearly resonate with some Canadians. Why do you think that is? You talk mostly about American politics.
I think everybody around the world, and especially people who in close proximity to the United States of America, like Canada, unfortunately, have to pay attention to American politics, because when we...
The stool looks mad uncomfortable. In the Y shop, bro, it was.
Sneeze in America, the rest of the world catches a cold.
You've been following, obviously, Canada-U.S. relations and how they seem to be headed south. Trump has introduced tariffs. He keeps talking about making Canada a 51st state. What do you make of that?
It's not surprising. Trump is very vulgar, and he's very vulgar in his imperialist ambitions. I don't know if Donald Trump will stop. He has been a little bit more restrained, if that's the proper way to analyze it.
This is before speech? No, it's after.
In the aftermath of the Greenland debacle. But it almost feels like we just have to keep him distracted like a child.
What do you think of some of the rumblings from Alberta talking about how they want to separate?
I don't understand Alberta separatists at all. As someone who lives in America, you don't want to know what it looks like when you have no health care that's backed by the government at all. It's not great. It's interesting to see the same exact separatist movements being implemented in a Western country that's such a close ally to the United States of America, because this is what we have done for decades to Latin American countries, to countries in the Middle East, and now it almost feels like we're doing it haphazardly to one of our most loyal allies in the North.
There seems to be a crackdown on free speech happening in America right now. We see student protests. We see what happened in Minneapolis. Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air. Do you worry you could be next?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be honest, for purely selfish reasons, after Charlie Kirk was assassinated and the Republicans were screaming bloody murder, looking to come after every single media figure, I thought that I would be first to go.
You're a target because you say controversial things. You have a strong anti-Zionist stand. You've also been called anti-Semitic. In fact, the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs wanted our government to block you from coming into this.
Isn't that nuts, dude? That the Israeli AIPAC was like, don't let this guy into the country. Like, that's crazy. How cucked is Canada that they got their own American, like their own Canadian version of AIPAC?
Country. How do you feel about people saying you're anti-Semitic?
I think it's a horrible smear, especially because I've spent my professional media career combating anti-Semitism as an avowed anti-Zionist. People have the capacity to see right from wrong, and people do have the capacity to understand exactly what's going on in Gaza, and that gives me a little bit more courage that I am no longer as alone as I once was.
You also said after 9/11, America got what it deserved. Can you explain that?
The thing that I was talking about there was, of course, about blowback. A concept that where there is a much academic consensus around. America's designs in the Middle East inevitably led to a very violent reaction that is totally unjustifiable as far as the victims of it.
When you say things like this, they're obviously not premeditated. Do you regret saying them?
It's far worse if I get something wrong on a factual basis than have a moment of weakness that is either misrepresented or is not received positively by the broadest subsects of American society.
America, as you know, politically is very divided, and that polarization seems to be getting deeper and deeper. You have said you consider yourself to be a provocateur. So are you adding to the problem?
Maybe. Problem for the billionaire class, for sure. But I don't think I'm necessarily creating divisiveness, because my ultimate goal is to unite people on a class basis. Because many of the divisions that we experience in American society, whether it be racism, sexism, homophobia, intolerance of different sorts, I see that as a weapon that the capital-owning class wields against the working class.
When we look at that polarization, what is the path back?
No, they usually had too many favors with that camera angle. Man.
Back to a shared understanding, or is there one?
Absolutely. Something that I stress always to people that might think that trans people or undocumented migrants are the reason why they have.
There was a security guard at the front of the line. I was telling my friends and I that I was really concerned about you speaking there, because the other speakers who had their own speeches at the Chance Center attracted older audiences, but you attract audiences of all ages, and they were concerned about something bad happening.
They're experiencing all this pain, this economic pain, this struggle, is that...
Yes, this interview went on for like an hour and 30 minutes, but they cut it down to 9 minutes.
Their bosses are not trans people. Their landlord is not an undocumented migrant. These are forces of capital that are playing a major role in their lives, and that they do have the capacity to organize tenant unions, for example, to try to make sure that they have a more just process. That kind of accountability and that initiation of taking power back is very inspiring for a lot of people.
As you look to the future of America, what does its relationship look like with its neighbors, particularly with Canada?
Not very good, I'll be honest. I think that we are a parasitic force on the planet, if I'm being very critical. America has always been a dominant force around the planet, and we have been able to present our intervention as a necessary evil at times. I, of course, was always critical of American intervention, but I think now more and more people are coming to that conclusion as well, especially when they find